Okay, we are now recording. Welcome everyone to the April 13th MicroProfile Steering Committee call. And I'm going to share the screen, share my browser here. Once I find the right one. Here we go. I think that's it. All right, can everyone see the meeting minutes?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. And for attendance here, I don't know if everyone here is on. Summers or Vincent, Atlanta Jug? Okay, IBM, both Emily and Kevin are on. iJug. Okay, Tatiana is Ruslan on?
Don't see him.
No.
All right, Garden State Jug, Mike. I see Michael here.
Yep, and
Chandra?
Barry.
And I'm
Chandra,
here.
Yeah, Chandra said he couldn't make it. So Barry's
Okay.
here. Barry.
All right, thanks, Barry.
Yeah. Actually,
Um,
his name is listed under community.
So I'll
Yep.
take that away and put it in.
Wow.
no, you have to leave those there, by the way. So yeah, just because these are voting members.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, yeah, just go ahead and leave it under the community side. That's fine.
Okay.
Ed Brat,
They're here.
always
Dimitri's
smiling.
here too.
Oops. Undo. Wrong one. And Dimitri's here too. Thank you. Rudy.
Yep, he's here.
Yes, present.
Oh, excellent. Roberto.
Yeah.
Yep, I see him there. All right. Tommy Tribe.
David, not Amelia.
Okay. And Edwin I saw as well. All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
one thing I wanted to ask here, quorum, so we now have 10 members, if my math is correct, which means quorum is 5, which we've met. Supermajority should be 7, correct? It's 67%. You have to meet or exceed that.
Isn't it
Well,
just of
if
members
you-
of the people present? Oh, one of the
Of
somebody from
the
Eclipse should
people
answer.
present, yeah.
I
good
thought it was
question.
also present.
Sorry, it depends what you're voting on, if you require supermajority or not. Simple majority is usually fine, depending on what the motion is.
But,
Yeah,
but if
we
you're in
have-
a meeting, do you need a supermajority of all the members or of the
Oh.
people present?
To
Ju-
hold the meeting, you need quorum, that's all.
Right.
And
To
then
answer your question, Ed, it depends on the vote.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that. I'm going to just remove this for now, because I just don't want to belabor this point here on this call, just in the interest of time. But it is a question that I think I'd like to get to.
Is it
at
Fujitsu
some
need to
point.
be here as well? Sorry, Fujitsu.
I'm sorry.
Fujitsu.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
they would go above IBM if you're going alphabetical.
FGH.
Just
Sorry about that. Fujitsu, and I didn't see who is here.
I don't
Is
know
anyone
if
here
they
from
are.
Fujitsu?
Uh,
I'm sorry.
I don't think they are on today.
Okay. So that would make a quorum of 6 because we have 11 members. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That would make quorum requirement being 6.
We still have that.
Yeah, and we still have that. Okay, thank you very much. And the Eclipse Foundation, Paul, Sharon.
Yep.
I think I heard Sharon.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, and then Ivar.
No, he's not on today.
Okay, and Tanya.
No.
All right. So thanks everyone. So just a couple of quick things. First of all, the meeting minutes were approved for the last meeting already via the email thread. So after this meeting, we will also have to vote within a week to approve these meeting minutes, and I'll be sending that out after this call. One thing I thought I would introduce is kind of the business that happened since the last steering committee call, just so that we can have kind of a single place to see what's going on, right, in the steering committee as a whole. No, I know some of these are wrong, and we're going to talk about these in a second here. But these are basically all the votes
Hey,
that have
just real quick,
happened.
John. Vince says he's
Yes.
been waiting to get in. Atlanta,
Oh,
John. He says he's been waiting to get in.
Can you give him, it's in the chat. Can someone copy and paste this phone number in the chat? He might have the old one because I don't see anybody waiting on this number.
right.
Okay. So when you say this number, you mean
There was a calendar FUPA I had that had the wrong, it had the old number in the subject line or in the location.
Just send him the link, the last link that John pasted in the
okay,
chat.
I'll do that.
In the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, and then I'll add him once he joins. So again, apologies for that. So, Cesar just joined. So I thought, again, I would just try and keep track of what happened and put it here in the meeting minutes again, so it's just one place. However, some things happened around our staging repository for some of these votes, where basically, actually, I'll have Emily, is it okay if you want to explain the expiration issue and what the plans are on these 3 specs that were voted on?
Right.
It-
Context
right, thank you.
propagation 1.2 is already passed, so that's fine. It's already released. The 3 kind of the 3 affected artifacts is MicroProfile reactive streams operators 2.0, OpenAPI 1.2, and GraphQL 1.1. So basically, the Sonatype removed all these artifacts and nowhere to be recovered. So the thing is, and then very quickly I staged the new reactive streams operators, so now need to be revoted. The other 2, I let John you talk about the plan for the OpenAPI and GraphQL.
Actually,
Yes,
I'll have Roberto.
Yeah, so for those ones, we actually realized, if you remember, that we did stage the binaries on the downloads Eclipse website, right? And those were the binaries that we voted. So we couldn't do this for streams operator because Emily made the release before we remembering about this, and so basically to override that folder. But we haven't done that for OpenAPI or GraphQL. So we think that what we can do is we can pick up the POM file from the tag and then use it plus the binaries from the staging directory and do a manual upload to Nexus, so we don't have to do the releases. So all the binaries that should go to Maven are already on the staging directly on the downloads, on the Eclipse downloads page. The only things that are missing are the POM files, but the POM files, you can retrieve them from the tag. And I think that will be fine.
So the only, sorry.
Why do we need to revote? Why it's not enough to just respin the same binaries to staging? Or
well, I mean, they're not going to be the same binaries, right? When you do another release, they're going to be. I mean, in practice, they are actually, in theory they're going to be the same, but in practice they're not exactly the same, right? Because they are generated in a different date time, so they're going to generate like different.
Checksum is, yeah, because the checksum
so
is.
basically you are saying that revoting is just a formality, because
Yes,
the spec conceptually going to be the same, right?
Yes.
Yep. Everything is exactly the same. It's just a formality because the staging repository accidentally got deleted.
Okay, in this case, can I say that just put +1 for Oracle?
Yeah, you just directly comment on the email. So I think is for this second vote, I think is let's try to get it over within a week.
And I apologize. Which specs again? I've been trying to keep track here. Well, as
The
moderator.
reactive streams operators, because I restaged that. So it's basically the technically they are identical. The only difference is that like the checksum and the timestamp and etc.
And that's the only spec. The other ones we already have the bits.
Yeah, the
The
other
oth-
ones for GraphQL and OpenAPI, we have them on the staging downloads folder for the Eclipse downloads website, which we usually copy there so people can see the Java docs and download the binaries without having to go to the Nexus repository. So we're gonna try to use those ones to upload manually to Nexus plus the POM
Okay.
file.
Yeah, I guess
And sorry, and that's for OpenAPI and GraphQL.
Yes. So
I guess
we're not sure this is going to work. I mean, in theory, it should work because Nexus has like a way to manually upload binaries by supplying the POM plus the binary, and I think
Yeah,
it should be fine.
Do you have the signatures though?
Yeah.
Okay. If you got the signatures, it should be fine. If you don't, then you'd have to redo the signatures.
So so Emily did open an issue on Sonatype, and they changed their policy to allow staging from MicroProfile group to stay there for a longer period. But we're only going to know if that works when we do the next vote, if they're not going to delete it again. So
Yeah.
maybe we can just add like an additional step to just make like a backup, like basically what we do on the Eclipse download website, but just do it with everything. So if there is something like this happens again, then we can have the exact thing that we stages in another place.
Can someone take an AI to update the release steps to do that?
right.
wiki?
So yeah, well, I think is like we will handle it in the in the technical call.
Okay.
The other thing, what I'm thinking, is the currently staged repo, are they having exactly same artifact than the ones in Nexus? Can we make sure like okay?
Yes, because what we do is when Jenkins doing the release, so Jenkins will just push the binaries from the target folder directly into Nexus, and we do a direct copy from the target binaries from the Jenkins workspace into the Eclipse downloads folder. So they're exact the same binaries. They're just like different copies.
Okay, so that's good. I think is okay. I think I will open an issue on the MicroProfile, and then we can. I think is a good suggestion, Roberto, to copy all the files. So just for safeguard. By the way, Sonatype is going to keep all the staged repo for 4 weeks, so that should be enough.
It should have been that way already. Did they reduce?
Yeah, they told me they implemented it wrongly. So basically, it's wrong. So that they fixed it straight away.
Okay, yeah, because when we encountered this issue on the Jakarta side of the fence, they weren't able to have a custom policy for just us. So
yeah, it's for all Eclipse. You are right. It's not only for MicroProfile, for all Eclipse artifacts.
Yeah, I think it's probably for 30 days for all things on their repository, not because they're not able
Yes.
to do that, not able to do it for just specific orgs or group IDs or people.
Yeah, correct. They did say that. So this effectively could happen to Jakarta specs.
Well, it could. because they have
Kevin
a
said
different-
already happened.
Well, yeah,
Sorry.
we have a different install there, so it wouldn't.
Okay, is there if we
Okay.
yeah, tackle this maybe in the technical call?
One thing to bring up
or
just quickly, Emily, you mentioned maybe we can get this one done in a 7-day vote. We don't have the ability to do a 7-day vote because we do not have a derivative of the EFSP. Isn't that correct?
yeah, we never voted on the MicroProfile spec process.
We could do that here today because we do have a specification. We do have a working group meeting. Here is the MPSP that we drafted that has been in final form since September of last
Okay,
year.
I will pull that up here.
Or
Yeah, but
October.
I don't think it was the actual requirement to have it in 1 week. Just if everyone votes within 1 week, we can close it.
Isn't it our derivative that allows that?
I thought it was, but
Yeah, like our definition of our specification process does allow that, but we didn't never vote that in. So we don't actually have an MPS.
I remember the discussion. It might be that we did not vote on it and
Yeah,
did not
yeah.
implement it.
Yeah, we did. We had the discussion. We decided. We locked it all down. We just never actually pulled the trigger on it.
So I don't know if it's a good idea to vote on it here, only because it wasn't in the agenda ahead of time. And this is where I'll need some process Q&A or input from the Eclipse Foundation. And we don't have everybody
on the
here.
list. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. We could just have a vote on the list.
Okay.
That's correct, John. Just from a process point of view, you know, not to have it in an agenda ahead of time. Shouldn't be a vote at the meeting for it, for sure.
All right, thank you. All right. Next item, and thank you for bringing that up. This is something that we do need to discuss. We should probably just do a quick discussion in the Google group first, or on the working group alias, and then decide if we want to do a vote on it. Just give people time to review the spec itself.
So on the spec process, that's what we're discussing, voting on it?
Yes, but not in this call.
Right. So there is a related topic that David came up recently in the context of Jakarta when we were looking at the implementation option or the patent option in the IP policy, the implementation or the compatibility option. That's also a decision that needs to be made by the steering committee, which patent option to decide on. Jakarta is the compatibility. This working group needs to make a decision as well. And there are some subtleties in that topic, and we'd be happy to tee it up and for your consideration and ultimate decision.
I didn't realize we had a choice in this.
Yeah, you do. As a separate working group, you've got a choice. I mean, it would be awkward to pick something different than what Jakarta did.
I just thought it was the EFSP itself that made that choice.
No, you adopt EFSP, and then the steering committee also needs to make a choice with regards to which patent option. And apologies to everybody else on the call that we're kind of off in a different spot. It's a rich topic that requires some setup and some careful discussion. So my recommendation is that we table it and tee it up for a separate discussion and vote.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I mean, in a nutshell, the question is whether or not the patents flow as a result of being a compatible implementation of a specification, or whether or not the patents flow as a result of being an implementation of the specification.
Yeah, if you have additional, I'm trying to think about how to continue this conversation outside of this call. Do you have like a link that
Yeah, it is a rather complex topic, and I would suggest that it be had in the context of a follow-on call.
Okay.
I'd hesitate. There's no good resource that I could just point you to and say it's explained here, unfortunately.
Okay.
We'd like to get there. We're just not there yet, and so that would be my recommendation.
And we do have a presentation we can provide, right, Paul, to the steering committee?
We absolutely do. We absolutely do. And
so how
so
urgent is this? Can be scheduled for the next steering committee call to have this presentation, or should we do it outside of that?
Well, here's the deal: is that by not having it, there's a point of ambiguity with regards to any specs that are balloted as release final specs and under the Eclipse Foundation specification license.
Well,
So
but the current governance on the projects indicates that they're implementation policies.
Well,
so I don't know how that came about.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Because it is to be a decision made by the steering committee.
John, I
Okay, well, let's not rattle.
Yeah, let's tee it up for the next non-tech meeting, so as soon as possible, and then does that sound good for everybody? Just so we can move on.
Yeah, let's tee it up. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll just have the conversation, in the Google group. Yeah, there are a couple of more pressing items right now, or pressing. I don't want to say more pressing.
And we're not prepared to have that discussion, so that would be it would be good to do it in a couple of weeks' time.
Okay, good. Okay, and then we'll figure out the right venue. Program plan status. So for the remainder of the items, what I did is I took it out of the parking lot from the last call and added it to the agenda of this call. So one of them is the program plan status, and in the interest of time, I don't know if this is something we need to necessarily double click on, because we've been having this conversation in the normal live Hangouts. But what we've done, just very briefly, is for the program plan, we've kind of categorized issues, and for each category, like marketing, technical, additional things, there are category owners who kind of are responsible for moving that conversation along for that category. And so the owners are listed in that link, and we've also created Git issues for the program plan that we can track the status of. Okay, so that's the status of the program plan. One of the things I would really like to move on to, assuming there's no comments, is the release plan status.
John, sorry, yep. I would like to interrupt you, sorry, but this category owners document is not available for the opening. So can it be shared? Because right now it requests access.
Yeah, why? This is our 2021 doc. This should be completely open to everybody.
Really strange.
I can't access it either.
Oh,
I mean the category owners sign here. I think it's a spreadsheet, maybe.
Anyone on the internet can view this link. Oh, viewer. This is weird. Did someone change this?
I think for me, if you go for me,
okay,
the only.
Yeah, right now I could go inside.
Okay, yeah, I see people joining.
Yeah, it's good now.
Okay.
The,
So I'm
the
not
only,
sure how the permissions got changed.
oh yeah, it's
but they-
okay now. Sorry.
Yeah, but they have been fixed. So for the release plan status, so we had a technical call where we were discussing options forward for the next MicroProfile release. So Roberto, do you want to maybe discuss the outcome of that call since you ran the meeting? Is he searching for his unmute? So this is let's see, a path forward. One of the issues I brought up with the MicroProfile platform release is that it's required for us to have a spec in order to address compatibility in branding, right? An application of a logo. So we can't really use have a compatibility unless we have a spec to be compatible against. And so one of the things I kind of brought up and that we discussed was how to resolve that. And so what we came out as a conclusion of that is for the next release, have it be a MicroProfile 4.1 release to define a platform spec and to enable implementation compatibility, right? We'll have a spec that then people can run the TCK and say thumbs up or thumbs down, right? Pass or not pass. And then apply a logo, which is another topic below. The next is that after a 4.1, we could have a MicroProfile 5 release, and that becomes the Jakarta namespace release, right? So that is where we would adopt, or the specs would reference, Jakarta 9 or later specs that use the Jakarta namespace, okay? And then after that release, probably MicroProfile 6, but basically becomes the next feature release of MicroProfile after the Jakarta namespace to actually enable features. And it's kind of far out, but thinking, hey, if Jakarta 10 is ready, maybe it aligns with Jakarta 10 related specs like JAXRS and CDI and so on, right? So that's what we had discussed. Does anyone want to add to that? And we should probably have a little bit of a conversation on this.
I thought 4.1 also allowed to include some spec update. I know like health is planning.
Yeah, so I did qualify my comment saying it'll be the first one after the Jakarta release to actually add specs, add features, the MicroProfile 6. Yeah, 4.1 could have a spec update, and yeah, health and support for startup probes was the idea.
Right. And then I understand is kind of the 5 is directly after 4.1. So basically identical to 4.1. The only difference is the Jakarta namespace. So
that's correct.
Yeah, so we can do 5 like very immediately or after 4.1, or some spec could start working on it now if they want. If they don't want to do any change in the 4.1. The other thing is for 5.1, do we want to consider like a Jakarta 9.1, like a Java 11 support? Not support, Java 11 alignment.
Yeah, was that Kevin? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I guess I was just thinking from our perspective, the APIs are not changing at all between 9 and 9.1. So whether or not we support Java 11 or not, that's up to us. I don't know that we have to move up to say that we support Jakarta EE 9.1.
Right. That's fair. So I think is maybe is that kind of the other thing is that maybe we finalize or formalize like a Jakarta 11 support, depending on whether we want to do it or not.
You said
Yeah.
Jakarta 11. I think you meant Java 11.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean Java 11. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
This is a
We
pretty
volunteer to
safe,
be
it's a
the-
pretty
yeah,
safe
the-
understanding, but yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, we might also want to think about Java 16 because 16 is going to be the next LTS. And I'm pretty sure that some people will like to move to 16. Also
17,
16,
you mean?
You mean
17. Yeah, 17. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which is like right around the corner. Plus 17 is going to remove a lot of stuff. And it's going to include some things around reflection that probably implementation have to work around that or figure out some other ways to be able to run that on 17. So we may want to think about 17 right out, just right now, right?
I thought 17 is out in August.
Yeah, September.
Yes, and
17.
yeah, in
Yeah.
September, and that's going to be the next LTS. So the expectation, I guess, that the people are on 11 are going to start moving to 17. So we're going to get asked for 17 support as well in this year.
Yeah.
And sorry, while I was updating here, just so I capture this in the notes here, while I was updating other things, and we're talking relative to MicroProfile 6, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Possibly.
I think for now, if we focus on 4.1 and 5, get them out of door first. That will be a kind of, by that time probably it's the Java 17 out. And then we can look at 11, 17, or this LTS.
Yeah. Let's keep that in mind during the year and see how we can adjust to that.
Yeah, we do have a program plan atom about Java alignment.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other comments or thoughts on this topic? So this is, I think, I don't know, the plan of record for moving forward. I don't know if this requires a vote, or if we're ready to vote. I just want to make sure everyone's had a chance to actually look at this. Because this is not the release plan in and of itself. There will obviously be a vote for a 4.1 release plan.
Yeah, we need.
This is just a roadmap, really.
We need what we discussed on the tech call was we need plan reviews.
Yeah. All right. So I think
that would be the formal way the working group would vote on it, was with the plan.
Okay.
So we need 2, right? One is 4.1, the other one is 5. So we can vote it together.
Do you need a creation review?
The creation reviews for like a new spec. So these are just new versions of existing specs. So we just need plan reviews.
Okay, I was just thinking about the platform.
Oh, good question.
Hey, and while you're thinking about it,
we didn't really do creation reviews for any other specs. So
that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't think we would bother.
same exception applies.
Yeah.
Whatever that one was, whatever it was. Hey, go ahead. Yeah, different topic, but somehow related. It does appear that the MPSP was previously voted on and approved by the steering committee and minuted in the October 20th meeting minutes.
You're correct, Paul. This is Amelia. We did it,
Oh.
but that is one page, and we did it just so that we could work on the release 4.0, and it was just a temporary, that is what we call it, though not in the minutes. It's not minutes, it's not complete.
It is in the
Oh,
minutes.
it is complete.
It's complete. It's a done deal. There's no interim approval
Okay.
of a specification
Oh.
process. It is. Well, I'll drop it in the link. In the chat
I've got
for
it up and
everybody.
running. Yeah, here, just as an FYI, but yeah, feel free to drop the link in.
Okay. I mean, there was some to-dos resulting of that with regards to putting it into GitHub repo, which I'm not sure we're done, but that's, you know, that's just something that needs to get done so you can manage it going forward.
Well, that's good news. I recall a meeting recently where we were discussing where we didn't do that. And that
Yeah,
we
there
need
it is right
to do
there.
that.
We did vote
Yeah,
on
I
that.
think they're like the meetings.
It was on our list of things to get through. So we I'm
couldn't-
pretty sure the steering committee had done it.
And Paul,
Right.
nice reminder, because we couldn't have done MP4 without it. That was a
That's
requirement.
correct.
That
That's
is a
correct.
requirement, so it was done in October.
Yeah, and the item that we did miss that I mentioned earlier on the call, which we need to get to, is the patent option choice. And Scott Stark, if you could send me over a link to what you were referring to, that would be helpful background.
Done.
Thanks.
I have a question. This is Emerson.
Yes.
There is a specific definition in the specification. I'm gonna put that in the chat. And it's saying that we have to guarantee compatibility about Java Standard Edition 8. This has to be maintained. So how that is gonna change the release plans we're talking about right now?
Well, I think we have to revisit that, right? And I'll be honest, just in the interest of time, I kind of want to avoid digging deeper into this topic here. But we are going to have to, have that discussion and revisit it. Have enough of our community moved off of Java or are ready to move off of Java 8? That's a good question. So, so it is something for us to talk about as we continue this conversation. So, okay, if it's okay, I'm going to move on to the next topic.
So John, before you move on, probably you want to delete the link vote to be taken on the list. If you go up the other page, you might, oh no, stop, go down a little bit. Yeah, down again. Yeah, just you might want to delete the link vote to be taken on the list. No, in a working group specific.
Oh, here it is.
process.
Yes. Okay.
Because that's being voted and etc. Just delete the whole thing.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Emily, for catching that.
Yeah.
No problem.
And I'm going to do, one other thing here. Let's see. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to paste this link in here just so we have a reference to it. That's the live hangout. Sorry. Here we go.
John, while you do that, did everyone here take a photo before the call started?
Yeah, I think that we started late for various reasons, and we kind of already spent a lot of time. So no, we didn't, and I apologize. I think we're just going to have to miss it for this particular call.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
We're waiting for you, Amelia.
All right. So, all right. So yes, thank you very much, Emily, for catching that. So I'm going to briefly discuss the Zoom bomb again briefly. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit to our steering committee call section, and then let's spend maybe the rest of the time on the logo and branding status. So the marketing call got Zoom bombed yesterday. It basically we had to cancel the call, and that's why this call went back to the waiting room approach so that we can vet people. So we are going to have, you know, Kevin and I are going to have a chat with Sharon just to look at what our Zoom options are, right? So we are going to figure out how to solve this problem. So for, you know, until that's resolved, myself or Kevin will be joining, you know, the marketing and this call, the live hangout and steering committee calls to make sure that it's all recorded. Okay. So let's, we can discuss anything related to that probably in the Google group. So compatibility logo and branding status. So I did mention that this is a dependency on a platform spec, which we discussed. And the next thing is that, or an item, I didn't want to go through a whole list of things, is that we need to create a compatibility logo.
John, can I insert in here? I sent a message yesterday with the links of the working group repo that has the items for trademark. And last year we created a few logos for this. Kevin, I think Kevin, and I don't remember if anyone else has provided feedback. And we are going to take that item, and those items are being already like returning to be worked on. One of the things that we need to decide on the compatibility logo is, do we want to open it so that any microprofiler interested can submit their logos like we did for the Jakarta logo as well? Or do we want to close it? My recommendation is always to invite the community to provide their logos and then have a 2 weeks vote on which one goes and move on. And we could have this completed by middle of May. However, I don't think this is a steering committee decision. I think we should bring this conversation to the forum and then to the community call. So I want to hear what others think, because we can create as many logos, but I think what is stronger when we invite others to provide their views and their art.
So I generally, I mean, yeah, like the idea. I think the issue is that some of the designs might be obvious copyright or trademark infringements on others, just because we're not doing a search ahead of time. What might help with the community is maybe we come up with a few designs ourselves that are kind of pre-vetted, and then the community maybe can vote. That's if others like the idea of the community involvement here.
Yeah, I sure do. Let's do that.
Yeah, so my question is, can we do this? Because we were a part of, with Ryan and a few other drivers, we even got it selected with one of our logos for the Jakarta site, so we know what to do. But the thing is that we don't want to invest so much time without talking to not only the steering committee, but also to the entire committee to say, hey, this is what we have, and we are doing it together, right? It's just fun. Michael, go ahead. Mike, I'm calling you Michael. I have been in calls too long. Mike, go ahead.
But me? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I just put in the chat about the community vote. Is great. So I think that's a great idea, because that's how the Jakarta logo got approved. And I think that was a lot of fun for people to, take their time and choose which one they think they like.
Yeah, I said the same thing. I told that group the same thing I'm telling right now. We need to do this openly. And we did, and I'm very happy. You feel that it was valuable.
We have deadlines.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes.
Oh, well, first, before we talk about deadlines, does anyone disagree with this?
Yes, disagree.
Wait, you disagree with having a community vote?
No, listen, who disagrees with this? I am pushing this.
I think that was the opportunity for you to be silent so people could voice their opinion.
Silent.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There, it was I sped up as I went along. Okay, so I like the idea of having a deadline, David. Thoughts about a deadline? Well, there's really 2 deadlines. First is to come up with a list of logos. The
Right.
second is to complete a vote.
Right. We knew submission deadline and then, you know, a vote deadline.
My
Are we
recommendation-
talking
Maybe
30
a
days,
price
2 weeks
sorry.
for submission deadline?
Yeah, end of the month, something like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, semi-quick.
So this is my recommendation. So we can have it, if we decide that this is how we want to do it, we could go almost 3 weeks to April 30th for submissions, community submissions, you know, and that will give us, we cannot start today because we need to get, we have 1 or 2 designs currently. We need a little bit more to show.
Well, sorry, you said community submissions. I thought we were only going to do it probably among steering committee members.
Oh, this is what I'm asking. Should we invite not only our groups, the members to do this, but also the community, or do we keep it just for members? That's one of the questions I have.
I don't have a problem with people submitting logos. It's the advertising it that, you know, like that takes effort. You know. Anyway.
Not really.
Well, and there's the compatibility logo and putting a governance in place with regards to when that logo can be used.
Yeah, that's subsequent work that needs to be done.
Yeah, or parallel. I mean, we still have to
Yeah.
define that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so we need to do the platform spec. It's already written there.
Yeah.
We need the logo, then we need the rules around certification that get you the usage.
Yeah.
And the supporting governance agreements that
Right.
that provide for entitlement usage.
Yep. So
Got it.
on the submission, what I recommend is we just go end of the month for people to submit. And if someone submits a logo and they're not part of the working group, I don't think any of us would feel good about turning them away. I just don't know that we're going to be advertising it on Twitter and making a big deal about the contest, right? Then we give ourselves a week to compile the logos together, and we start the vote immediately the week after that. So
A
that
week
would
is,
be-
yeah, but let me just say this, a week is not going to be enough.
to take all the submissions and just formulate a vote.
Yeah, because we need to go and see what goes outside of what is the trademark allowed. And that takes a little bit longer even before we include the Eclipse Foundation. So I am saying we need to
Are we going to do a search on all the logo submissions?
No, what I'm talking about is that we will give some specifications like guidelines for members and the community to submit. And that needs to be written just bare minimum. And then there will be a few that will come out of it. And then we need to send the replies to those ones saying this doesn't qualify and this is the reason. A week is not enough for that kind of information. If we open it, like I hope we do, we need 2 weeks for that process between, end of the month and then another 2 weeks to clean it before the votes, based on what we have done in the past.
Well, I tell you what, why don't we just have that first deadline, see if there are logos that don't match the guidelines, and then deal with it.
Sounds great.
Because I think this is not going to be as time consuming as the previous time.
Yeah.
Because previous time you were creating totally new logo, and this time you're going to choose to use like already existing logo just with compatible sign and something like that. So this
Right.
is not the same.
It's just a
I think that it
derivation
will be
of the
faster.
existing logo. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question for the Eclipse Foundation. Do we have to have an actual steering committee vote on the chosen logo that we all approve on it? Like a formal vote?
No, we didn't do it for Jakarta.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's
Okay.
you might want to, but I don't think you need to. You can go with what the community recommends. It kind of depends how you want to tee it up. If you can tee it up as a community decision, then you live with the community decision.
Okay. Yep.
Now,
just
and then
verifying.
there's the protectability, our ability to actually register the logo. So that's, some point along the way, we've got to make sure that what is either put forward as a candidate or decided on is something that can be registered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is when we pull you in, Paul, you and the team.
All right, so we are at the top of the hour. We got basically 3 minutes left. In 3 minutes, is there anything else around compatibility logo and branding that we want to discuss? I mean, Paul brought up some things that we do have to discuss. Like I said, I didn't list them, bullet everything out. So I guess,
yeah, I would just say add the bullet that he mentioned that we need to decide on the level of certification required. Like we need rules there. We need to have a spec. We got to have a logo, and then we got to just formally tip our hat to how the certification happens that gets you the logo.
Yeah, and the document to take a look at is the for Jakarta. It's the Jakarta Trademark Usage Guidelines. That's where we captured what you needed to fulfill in order to use the logo. And that's, Dave, if you recall, that's where we put that provision for open source projects. And that, in a nutshell, defines what you need to do in order to be compatible. And then there's a lot of supporting documents that hang off it.
I missed all that because my dogs were barking. So I apologize.
I think David can write it for you, John. And
okay.
send it to the chat. David, can you do that? You said it super nicely. And then Paul also added some things. Can you draft it, please?
Yeah, I've got to find the mini minutes again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna.
Paul, you said something super nice when David was talking as a compliment. If you can also help on that, that would be great. The two of you.
Yeah. The trademark guidelines is really what needs to be fulfilled in order to use the logo, and it links to all the supporting documents that need to be prepared in order for us to have a formal certification program.
Yes. And Paul, we already wrote it. It has not been approved by the steering committee because we're waiting for compatibility. I will add the link for John. I will add the link on the minutes, public minutes, so that John can add it here. The MicroProfile working group trademark guidelines are completed. It's only that it's missing the information for compatibility, but we have.
Well, yeah, but I'm using my terminology pretty precisely. So the Jakarta E trademark guidelines, which is the link I provided, that we need an analog of that for MicroProfile. And then the links where it links off to policy and handbook and agreements, we will need to create or adapt those for MicroProfile.
Yes, Paul, and what I'm saying is we use the Jakarta work and documentation to create the MicroProfile trademark guidelines. Literally, we did that.
Yes, and some of those documents are legal agreements. Some of them are policies. Some of them are existing foundation policies that include references to Jakarta. So each one of them has a different customization. And one thing that Sharon and I are doing is working our way through the inventory of things to get done that we'll send to the mailing list for you all to take a look at, and we can figure out how to best collaborate and get things done that we need to do and things that the community can get done to get out of the way and let the community do it.
Sounds wonderful. And I'm saying wonderful because I said I volunteered to lead this effort. So yes, if you have more supporting information, please, working group forum.
John, if you're talking, you're on mute.
I thought I unmuted. That was
there.
Weird.
You go.
Yeah, sorry. So again, apologize for the late start due to the wrong dial-in info and the invite, but I'll make sure the other steering committee meetings have the proper one. So thanks everyone for joining. It was a good status call today and made some progress. And so I guess the next call is a live hangout in 1 week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Right.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. It was good to be
Bye,
back.
everyone.
Bye for now. Right.
John, I was late. You can add me or not. I was 20 minutes in the call.
I'll add just your first name or your
Exactly.
last.
Do that. Do that. I mean,
Just gonna write down Emily.
only I was here only half. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Hey, John,
Bye.
can you add me as well? I'm not in the doc.
You should. I thought you were up there.
Oh, there
Oh,
you
I am
go.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Vince, I miss you so much. I can say this. We're recording, but I have to say it.
Oh, I didn't start the recording yet.
You will have to cut that part, right? We're socializing now.